switched from selling top-quality furniture to scratched and dented. Website designer Cindy Bruner laid off 6 of her 14 employees. This was the Chrysler dealer, the Chevy dealer, the Tractor Supply Company. Since the recession, we've seen a lot of troubled towns in the country, but nothing that looks quite as broken as Newton. Even the local chapter of the Optimist Club has closed.
Well, I want to tell everybody we're a company town, or the company left, but we're going to thrive.
Chaz Allen is the mayor of this town of 15,000 people. It's a part-time job, pays about $4,000 a year. Allen walked us through an abandoned Maytag plant that, at its peak, held 2,500 factory workers building washers and dryers. If anyone out there is interested, the mayor has more than 1.7 million square feet to rent.
It is available. It is available. Make a good deal.
The mayor's been trying to pull new jobs into town. He made a run at green energy and got a company that makes wind turbine blades. But every time he gets a few hundred jobs, he seems to lose a few hundred. This fall, a telecom company called Windstream had 2 layoffs.
It was 60 and then it was 146 the next time.
How's that affect people around here?
You know, it's a roller coaster. I want to say that, I was affected in the first layoff. I was one at the Windstream that was affected the first round.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
They laid off the mayor?
Yeah.
Are you working now?
No.
His town is shrinking. This year they closed an elementary school, and they're slashing the city budget. Have you already lost policemen?
Yes.
Firemen?
Yes.
What about the hospital in town?
It's being reduced in size as well.
And that is the backdrop for Tuesday's election. In our national poll, we asked, what's the most important issue in America? 54% said jobs. Healthcare came in second at 7%. Only 1% said the war. Newton's congressional district is bipartisan country. It voted for George Bush in 2004 and then for President Obama.
Hi, how you doing?
But now Democratic Congressman Leonard Boswell is fighting for his job. He's been re-elected here 6 times, but this week his race against Republican Brad Zahn is too close to call.
My wife and I watched the news last night, and I think every ad was a political ad.
Who do you trust with your money, with your future? It's not Brad Zahn.
Leonard Boswell, too wrong for too long.
But incredibly, Bruce Braley supports building a mosque at Ground Zero.
How much relevance does all of that have to you?
Nothing. Doesn't have a bit of relevance to me.
We invited some of the folks in town to the Legion Hall. How many of you would say that you're angry about politics right now?
Yes.
Oh, that got a big yes.
I'm sick and tired of people going to Congress in Washington, D.C. and making a living out of it while we starve to death.
Does it matter much to anyone in here whether the Republicans or the Democrats control the House, for example?
No.
Does it matter?
No.
If a Republican says it, the Democrats don't listen. If the Democrats say it, the Republicans don't care what they're saying.
What gets done in Washington? What gets done at the Iowa State House? Very little gets done. Everything comes down to either abortion issues, gay marriage issues. It needs to go above and beyond that.
I don't have a job. That's all I care about. I don't care about the Republicans or the Democrats. I care about Newton, Iowa, the job situation, the financial situation.
We went to the foreclosure auction the other day. Nobody bid on anything.
Nobody has any money.
Help us. Do something about the economy. It's really hard out here.
The economy is not spurring jobs.
Todd Meyer was laid off from the same telecom company that laid off the mayor. You served in the Gulf War.
I did.
You were in the Navy.
Yep.
In combat there.
Yep. USS George Washington.
And now you're unemployed.
Yes.
Meyer and his wife Teresa are raising 3 kids. Their daughter Caitlin is the first in the family to go to college.
I get emotional about it because it's just, we never expected to be in this position. But, I look at my daughter and I just think, how do I keep her in college?
It's every parent's dream to send their child to college, especially if that parent didn't have the same opportunity.
I've had this dream since I was really little, and my parents have done everything they can, and it's just starting to get hard, and I'm going to try and help out, but it's hard to see that dream slip away.
How many of you think that your children will enjoy the same standard of living that you did? This worry, pessimism really, weighs on families who had seen a different future. How many employees did you have at the peak?
22.
How many do you have now?
I'm down to 7. Half pepperoni, half pineapple. All right, fantastic.
Scott Creech bought his own pizza franchise in Newton 21 years ago. How many hours are you working?
Last week it was 82.
82 hours in a week?
Correct.
How long can you do that?
Until I die.
Sales have slipped to a place that's sometimes dangerous for his family.
Once you get down around this area, I may be able to file for food stamps.
His wife, Julie, is working at a school to take some of the pressure off.
He's 52 years old now, and I worry about him every day. His brother died of a heart attack when he was in his 40s, and I worry about that all the time.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, how are ya?
His son, Parker, is 10. Creech comes home to put Parker in bed, but then he heads back to the shop. He washes up and closes up about 1 a.m. I wonder what the stress has been like for you.
I've been blessed. You know, you have guilt.
Guilt about what?
You'd like to have that 8 to 5 job, holidays off, but
You can't do that now.
no.
Nationwide, the number of small businesses going bankrupt each year has tripled since the recession. There were 60,000 bankruptcies last year alone. When you're looking for the path out of this flat recovery, there are a couple of things that strike you. One, small businesses create most of the jobs in this country, 65% of all new jobs. But lending to small businesses is actually declining. In the second quarter of this year, lending to small businesses and farms dropped by $13 billion. That's nearly 2%. So 3 years after the beginning of the Great Recession, with interest rates the lowest they've ever been in history, banks are lending less money to the engines that create jobs.
Have you gone to the bank?
Yeah. That's amazing, because you know you hear stories about how lending is going to be more friendly, and you know even the president himself is going to tell banks that they need to understand what businesses are going through. There's no banks. The banks don't understand anything. They won't loan me a dime.
And you went to the bank and they said what?
Come back when you have a couple of good years behind you. Really? Because I won't need you then.
They'll offer money to you when you don't need it, but when you need it, you can't get it.
Perfect. Okay, we'd like to hear that. Here's your
Alan Yagi has been losing money at his jewelry store on the Courthouse Square for a year and a half. He makes a lot of his own jewelry, and to try to match his customers' falling income, he switched from gold to silver, diamonds to beads. His employees, Darlene Swank and Tina Kono, even volunteered to cut their hours.
You're going to have to let Tina and Darlene go.
It's hard. It's hard.
Do you remember when you had to sit down and explain it to them?
Yeah, I talked to Darlene first. I didn't have to say anything. She knew. You know, she does her books, and she knew.
And what did the books tell you? Help me understand.
You just can't keep doing what you're doing. You know, as hard as it is, we tried.
His store closed this weekend. More layoffs reduce demand, which creates more layoffs. Change may be coming again to Washington, but in Newton, many believe the struggle will stay the same as family businesses work to steal another day from the Great Recession.